This conference will now be recorded.
Don't you?
Is that by design? You know, that door, there's unlocked. Office area.
Look what Fred Taylor brought by as a gift today.
No, I didn't know if you knew it.
No.
Isn't that something?
What is it?
Santa Clauses.
They're ornaments for the tree.
5:30, the meeting will come to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Ginger,
Here.
Commissioner Jennings,
Here.
Commissioner Rogers,
Here.
Commissioner Warren,
Here.
Mayor Spillman.
Here. For all that would like to join us.
Pray with me. Our Heavenly Father, we invite your presence into this place, into our minds, into our hearts, into this community. We ask your presence and wisdom be here. Your spirit of love and grace, compassion be among us. We ask that you would just give us guidance divinely to make decisions in the better interest of our community, its present and its foregoing. We ask that you would bless our city staff, our workers, be favorable to those who labor in the heat. Protect them, please. And watch over our citizens. Let this be a safe community with your overwatching. We thank you in the name of the Most High God. We pray and amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Additions to the agenda.
Yes, so under the consent agenda, we would like to add an item number 2, and that would be to ratify Mayor Diana Spillman's appointment of Larry Limbaugh to the Visit Art City Board of Trustees.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. We add the addition to the agenda, consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Not. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the agenda as amended. Any
Yes.
further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Proclamations. I do get to do this one myself because I do have a mentally challenged granddaughter, so I thought this was my turn to do something. Whereas the National Disabilities Independence Day is celebrated each year on July the 26th to commemorate the signing of the Americans for Disabilities Act, ADA, on July 26, 1990, and whereas this legislation establishes a clear and comprehensive national mandate for the elimination of discrimination against individuals with disabilities, and whereas ADA provides protection from employment and other forms of discrimination by reducing barriers and changing perceptions, increasing full participation in community life, and providing better access to goods, services, and communications for people with disabilities. And whereas, although ADA has helped millions of Americans with disabilities to achieve equal treatment for disabled individuals, there still are barriers to public accommodations of which governments, corporations, and business owners need to be aware. And the full promise of ADA only will be reached if we remain committed to continue our efforts to implement it fully. And whereas, therefore, the year and on this anniversary of the Americans for Disabilities Act, the city and its Equal Opportunity and Accessible Advisory Board celebrate and recognize the progress that has been made by reaffirming the principles of equality and inclusion and recommitting our efforts to reach full ADA compliance. Now, therefore, the mayor of Arkansas City, Kansas, does hereby proclaim Wednesday, July 26, 2023, as National Disabilities Independence Day in the city of Arkansas City, and hereby reaffirm that the city and its citizens will continue to work toward full compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yeah.
So, consent agenda,
Move that we approve the consent agenda, regular meeting minutes as written, and the ratification of the appointment by the mayor of Larry Limbaugh.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, Larry Limbaugh, I didn't see.
He is one of the new people that's going on the board representing motels.
Man, that's your, and they manager one of the local.
He manages one of them too, I think, one of the hotels.
Yeah, I just, he was familiar, I just wasn't, I didn't quite know. Thank you.
Application.
He's at the Better Western or the Best Western.
Best Western, I believe. No, Super 8.
He's at the Super 8, Super 8 or the Superlative 8, one or the other. The two side by side.
Yeah, Joyce.
Yeah, that's all.
Scotty, you need it?
Nope, I'm good.
Anyone, any other further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Motion carried. New business.
Under City Manager Department, item number 1 is select 3 voting delegates and 3 alternates to the 2023 League of Kansas Municipalities, LKM Annual Business Meeting to be held Monday, October 9th, 2023.
So if you haven't decided who's all going, we can do this at another meeting, but you just need to, at some point here in the near future, decide who the voting delegates are for the
Was
conference.
that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or?
This will be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Monday.
And the meeting that the voting delegates would take part in would be on Monday. So normally Saturday activities or some special trainings in the afternoon, and then there's more social stuff Saturday night, and then Sunday's kind of the day where there's a lot of training opportunities and workshops. And then Monday, quite a few workshops, training activities, and then the conference or the annual meeting. And normally Sunday night, there's a banquet and some entertainment and stuff for the attendees. And it's in Wichita this year, so, I mean, it's really easy if one day doesn't work, but you can get to one and not, so.
Now Canyon wants to go. Charles, do you?
Are you usually a voting member too, then? Are you usually one of the voting members?
can.
I can be,
All right.
so, but, yeah, it's,
The workshops I really like. You learn a lot
Oh, yeah.
in the workshops.
Charles, did you say you wanted to go?
I said I'm going.
There's 3 voting members. So do we need to select somebody from city staff to be the alternates?
yeah, do you have that form in front of you? So we have 3 voting delegates and 1 alternate, or 3 alternates, so.
So last year we did choose, we chose you and then I think 2 other from the commission.
So will you have any staff going to it or not?
I don't know yet who all from staff would be interested, so, I mean, I'll go for sure and I'll offer it up to,
Well, we might have staff, somebody else be
yeah.
a dedicated voting member.
So your 3 delegates are Jennings, Warren, and it was.
Okay, Jay, Charles, and Canyon. So do we just need to vote on those
I
tonight?
think that's the most important one, Jack.
Someone would like to make a motion
I'll
to,
make that motion.
okay?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we select Canyon, Jay, and Charles to attend as our voting members. Is there any further discussion?
Clarifying that we would come back later and identify alternates.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll find out what staff members are going to go and.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna find out if you got any staff that's gonna go.
Well, yeah, I'm just wanting to make sure that we don't just fumble that and not have,
We'll try to have something on that for the next meeting.
okay, perfect.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any items to come before the commission from the commissioners? First time in a long time.
Well, I'm just being polite. Waiting. Good. Okay, all right, okay. I do want to, this is kind of difficult because aside from my 1/5 of this governing body, I'm just a citizen also. Yet as a part of this body, the actions, whether they're unanimous or majority, simple majority, super majority, are really the actions of the commission, the governing body. And since I identify with each of you and appreciate you and respect your opinions and thoughts, I felt the need to use my own voice and in this particular articulation. Want to clarify my commitment and resolve and position here. I understand that there's an expectation by the citizenry, especially the voting citizens, that we defend the dignity of the office and of our citizens and of our business community. The gravity of our voices is such that harsh tones can be both hurtful and harmful towards the citizens. And it's not my intent to speak in that manner towards any individual in the community or any entity in the community. So if there is a perception, this is for me, if there is a perception that I may have impugned the character, integrity, reputation of any citizen in this community as a result of discussions that we've had recently, I want to publicly apologize. Same thing for the businesses in the community. Out of my mouth and my voice, I'm speaking. I want to say that it is never my intent to malign or defame any business entity in this community. And the identifying of any individual by my premise should be with their foreknotice that there would be a topic of discussion involving either the individual or the individual business, such that they might be here to speak in their own behalfs also. So I, again, am publicly saying if there was any business entity that felt maligned by discussion or comments from this body of which I am a part, I publicly apologize for that and want to let the citizens know I work for you, and I respect the fact that you've given me the opportunity to do that. I think that suffices my articulation. Public apology. Question. A question. Is the check still in the mail for the healthcare facility loan? Is that still on track or?
So the last contact that I had from Mr. Bowman was they're in a pre-audit situation right now.
August 1st is our date. We got paperwork we had to fill out through IRS. And so it went back to them. And so our audit is August the 1st. And once we get through that, then
Okay,
that's the final thing for the release of money. You have to go through an audit with our people that we got hired. What's their name? Can you remember? Okay.
So I understand. They're true to their intent. We're still tap dancing around the slogging through the mud of the IRS and their processes. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Because our citizenry seems to have a problem that thinks they never get paid back for that. Could we please make a public thing out of it being paid back so that the citizens know it did get paid back and it got paid back like we said it would?
Oh, when it happens? Yeah.
We'll take a picture of it, put it in the paper. Okay.
Come here and they present the check to the treasurers. We did what we said we was going to do.
We would entreat the favor of Mr. Seaton and his staff for that. But yeah, I have a reason why I know I'm the bad penny on that. It keeps coming back. I have a reason why I keep addressing that again. And it is in part, the mayor just said it because some people keep saying, what about that?
It's never been paid back. It's never been paid back.
Has not been paid back. I'm sorry. I'm a wordsmith, and so I try to discourage people from saying ever and never because we don't know when ever and never really end. But it hasn't been paid back yet. But I'm just wanting to make sure that we have that on our radar screen somewhere. Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone? Is there any comments from the audience? Anyone signed up? No. Okay. Okay, you're up, Randy. We're ready for our list.
So in front of you, there's a zoning map that has the different parts of the zoning of the community. So asked for that at the work session the other day when we kind of talked about chickens and farm animals again a little bit. So that'll kind of give you an idea of our zoning and where it's at in the community. And then Mike Bellis will bring some more information on farm animals and things like that in the community in a future meeting. Madison Mill and Overlay, Nick got confirmation it's going to start August 14th. So hope they don't change it again, but we're kind of running out of time at that point, so that I think it will be fine. We talked a while back about applying for a SRF loan forgiveness program for the green sand filter. So I got a letter from KDHE late last week that we were in the queue and approved for moving forward with that process if we desire.
How much is that grant?
So the loan, the estimated loan for it with the purchase, it would be about right at $2 million. And their loan forgiveness on that would be $626,700. And then the market interest on that is 60% of market is how the interest is done. And currently in July, if we were to get the loan today, it'd be 2.14% interest on that. So
over how many years?
We could decide what the payment is. I believe on those we can go up to 30 years, typically 20 on an SRF loan, but I think they extended that a while back to 30. So, but
The reason why we're applying for that, because we need more extension for more water. I mean, that gives us another.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and it would help treat what it's about is treating manganese in the water. So yeah. So we'll get some more information on that, but we're in the queue for that, for those dollars if we decide to move forward with it. And this would be a good time with the loan forgiveness and stuff. So the Chestnut Booster Station circuit board has arrived in town. Now we're waiting for a technician to come to install it and program it. While the technician's here, we're going to also have them give us a proposal on converting that over to a PLC. So it's more modern controls, and then hopefully it would be easier to get parts and keep running when things go wrong. So we'll probably bring back some proposals on that. I don't know what that'll cost, but it would definitely be the thing to do, upgrade it. Also, in front of you, there is a KCC intervention document. So we joined up with some other cities. So Casey's or Evergy right now has got a rate case in front of KCC. One of the things that, the one thing that we would like to intervene in is streetlight costs. So right now, we pay a pretty high price for energy for streetlights. We pay a demand price. Our streetlights run at night, not during the peak demand time of the day. So our argument is that we should be paying for less electricity than what we are. About half is what we're arguing. So so anyway, we've intervened with other cities. There's several cities that they're listed in the intervention. Ask them to reconsider their KCC to reconsider that and lower that cost of energy for streetlights. So we'll see how that goes. The worst thing that happens is keep it where it is. If we were to be successful, it would drop the cost in half. And I'd say it's about $80,000 a year in streetlight costs. So
Nice.
Yeah.
the crosswalk in front of Jefferson Elementary has been moved now to the corner of A. The guys have been working on putting in the ADA ramps on the corner there and getting that kind of set up. Removing the other crosswalk that was in the middle of the block, so that's moving. Also, there's a whole list of signs that need to be upgraded, in that whole area, so they'll be working on that. And we're waiting for some more information on the crosswalk on Kansas. The detail that they gave us in the study didn't, kind of give the full area. So how to start and stop the transitions and stuff that aren't included in that. So we'll have to get some additional detail on that. But we're doing everything that we can. And of course, there's several things in that study that were related to the school. And so we'll hopefully have a conversation with them in the near future about what they can do or what they're able to do with that as well. But we're taking care of the low-hanging fruit and the things that we can take care of relatively quickly and easily. So. And the water analysis, we've started on that. I guess the only thing I can describe it as is there's a huge data dump that's coming to him. So lots of information heading his way. And keeping Jennifer and Courtney on their toes over there. But that's moving along. Another thing on the water treatment plant, Rod had some of the membranes autopsied on the reverse osmosis, and it's time to replace them. They're designed to last 3 to 5 years, and they've been in operation 5 years. So he's working on getting some proposals to replace all the membranes. I think there's like 267 membranes that need to be replaced, and they're going to try to do them all themselves. And we're probably looking at a cost of $350,000 or so. So we don't have the exact figures yet. He's getting some proposals on different brands and things. But
that wasn't budgeted either.
Yeah, it's because it's one of those items that maintenance items that we knew were coming up. And like I said, they plan 3 to 5 years for the life of those, and we've gotten 5 out of them. So, but if we want to maintain the quality of the water, something's going to happen. So, and Rod also said, early on they were learning on the cleaning of the membranes and different things, and so he felt like with what they've learned and up to this point, the next set of membranes will be able to make last longer because some of the maybe mistakes they made early on they've learned about and they're kind of got that stuff hammered out. So, but just so you're warning, that's going to be a big number coming at you here in the near future. So, the UV installation is done at the wastewater treatment plant, but now we're waiting for the tech to come do the startup. So I think that's scheduled on the 25th, and we're still bypassing. We're going to have to purchase some extra chemical because the bypass has gone on longer than what we anticipated. They had issues getting the old one out. And nothing ever works like it's supposed to on an old house, right? So, but the extra chemical they buy can be then used over at the water treatment plant what we have left over. So it's good, but that's moving forward.
On our water sewer fund, we got over 5 million. We still have some payments yet on that to pay.
Yeah, I think, we will. I'm pretty sure we extended all of our money out at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then now we're working off the loan.
Okay. But we're showing like $5 million in that account.
Yeah, there may be some funds that came in and haven't been expended yet.
Sounds like a little high, but yeah.
My guess is there's probably some of those dollars that we got in from the loan. Checks in the mail.
Okay, I was just curious.
We received the budget proposal for the pickleball courts yesterday, actually. So I got those to Sam. The gentleman was here presenting to you guys here recently. And so he's working on some different fundraising opportunities. And so we'll kind of keep you posted
What
on.
about grants? We look at grants.
Yeah,
How did Winfield get their grant? We ought to see what they did on how they qualified. I mean,
I think that was through the rec commission.
Rec commission and
was it?
And I know there's,
some donations, I think, too.
and Sam,
Don't quote me on that.
he's been working with Legacy on some of the grant databases they have there to see what might be available. Also setting up some funds through them for folks to donate. So I think he's feeling pretty good about how that's coming along, and we'll help out where we can from the city level. But so I just want to keep that stuff's moving along. So, and then I have a question. So we have the movie equipment that we never use. The chamber is interested in that. And it would make probably more sense for an organization like the chamber to have that to show movies and stuff. We don't have the staff and things to do that. And they're more event oriented type of group. So are you open to us donating that movie equipment to the chamber?
Well, I think it needs to be used. I mean, I mean, to me, if we're not going to do it, I mean, that was one of Nick's things, way back, and Andrew Lawson, way back, showing movies and stuff. And if they want to use it and do it for the people, and stuff, that might be a good thing for, the chamber to do.
I've talked to Artie a couple times and they're interested in Visit Our City also said they would be interested in having access to it using it.
I know I know there are businesses out there that gave money, furnished money that for popcorn, hot dogs, or whatever, for those movies and stuff. So there are people out there who donate for that cause, but it ought to go through probably the chamber,
But it would still be free to the public,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Now, it's not gonna be no charge. Yeah.
And that's something we could verify with them before. If this is yours, if you agree not to charge public.
One question, did it cost us to get this equipment?
I understand it was a grant.
Yeah, we got to go in our grant. So
Need to pass it on.
we had it in the trailer, didn't we? Or
See, it hasn't been used since I've been here, so
It is in a trailer.
is it?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We kept it in the trailer, Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think you maybe would use that one, Tony,
Yeah.
and Nick were the ones that would show up for that.
Yeah.
Nothing against Tony, but I think he's getting over, he's got a couple grandkids.
Yeah, stipulate that it would, however we transfer owners.
A motion or something to do that?
Like that, we need a motion or just a consensus?
A consensus is probably final. You're just talking about grant money.
Yeah, I'm suggesting that you did articulate that, but stipulate
Change of ownership.
this, our position that it not be something that they rent out or lease out. I mean, they would have, care of it, but freely you have, received, freely give. Type of thing.
I know we had to pay, I think the money, like the office donated one movie, but we had to buy the movie. That's probably you have to pay for the what do you call it? The
Licensing.
licensing stuff. And like one of them, we paid $350 for license for that, just that one time movie. But it was, the kids liked it stuff. They had a good time.
And then the final one. So as you're well, two of you were there the other night at the town hall for the sales tax question for streets. So where do we want to go next on that?
My personal feelings would be, since I missed that, I don't need to talk to you guys, whoever went to it, but just maybe have another work session on it and see how we want it to go.
That's fine.
The,
'Cause I mean, I wasn't there, and so I was kind of left out. And
No, that's
you
fine.
kind of tell us what, the feel of it was.
I was unable to attend also.
yeah, and I don't know if one meeting like that's enough anyway. You have 30, 40 people there out of a town of 12,000. It may be worth trying to find more, just get more input from different people.
I think where you're going to different groups, you're probably getting more feedback than we got at that town hall meeting.
Well, my feelings when I talked to this afternoon was that maybe we do it like similar like we did the sales tax on the hospital, where you go to where they're at, you go to their schools and stuff and do like one every week for like 6-7 weeks and bring them in. You know, you go to them, and I think that's what we need to do. And I think the other thing is there's just not a lot, the people I talk to, just a few of them, is about the trust. You know, they don't trust us in the sense that, well, I'll never get my roads done. So-and-so will get his done before I get mine done. Well, it's supposed to be for everybody, you know, type thing. I think we need to, work on that. I think there's some things we need to polish up a little bit. Of course, I wasn't there to listen to, I listened to one at the chamber, but
I've already heard a grievance from property owners south of Madison who felt like they were not adequately represented in the plan for, so we want to make sure to do that. I'm curious, and there may be restrictions through the cable service provider, but we have the Channel 7 thing. Did we video it? Is there something or another forum where we could make a recording and then share that through that platform and folks?
Shannon did record it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was recorded, and I can send the link to that. It's on our YouTube page, so I can send it for you to watch.
Okay, but we have channel, isn't that on there all the time? So we could,
No, Channel 7.
Channel 7,
I don't.
Talk to
A lot of people stream.
streaming is,
Yeah, so
that's another option too.
They don't really.
But I just, thought was triggered when Commissioner Warren said, go to where the people are, because guess where the people are? They're streaming. They're online.
well,
so-
that, and then you go to their neighborhoods, where they go,
Right.
kids go to school.
Well, that,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's the next iteration, is where you have people who don't want to sit in a meeting. They'll pull it up online and they'll look at it themselves. And, maybe if it's a 30-minute.
You only have one comment from the online streamers.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well that's attended either.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, no, sir, I'm sorry. I'm just saying those are media to make it available, and if we're guilty of anything at all, we want to be guilty of saying it is available here. We're not going to mandate that people watch it or you're going to get a fine, but we're going to say it's there if you want to pick it up and look at it. Someone may look at it and say, hey, you want to check that out, to another friend or neighbor or whatever, and say that. And so that's okay. But we want to use all the avenues beyond just saying someone has to come to a meeting, carve out an hour of their day or evening, week, to come sit in a meeting and listen to the discussion. There some. You guys have an idea how many folks are online after midnight?
Probably a lot.
I'm just saying, so people are online.
How many?
So I'm just saying, put it out there. Was that your last?
I just had one more thing about that. That was the last subject matter though, so. Oh, I just wanted, so in talking with the county clerk, they changed special election rules this past year. So you cannot have a special election 45 days before general. So just as an example, I'm not saying this would be the date, but we would have, if we were to move forward with it this fall, we'd have to have the election before September 23rd. But there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into even getting to that point. So that wouldn't even be possible. But then it sounds like you can have a special election just right after the general or primary. It just has to be 45 days before. And then she did also say that they have another election in March. Does that sound right?
March or April.
So this particular year, you got kind of a window in there of between November and March that would, if that was.
Could you put it on the November election, or is it too late to?
It'd be too late now, and probably on something like this, you'd want to have a special election.
Yeah, I think the next low turnout is an off-year election type of thing, and usually those off years are, our cities don't vote.
And then the final piece of that would be that it would estimated cost for that would be Something like that.
It used to be 2,500. Used to be 2,500.
COVID.
She says she has to, there has to be a plan submitted to the Secretary of State's office. It's about a 40-page document that takes 2 to 3 weeks to prepare.
That thing we did for the hospital, it was $2,500.
I think they must have made some significant changes to special elections this past.
How back? That was quite a while ago.
Was it?
Huh?
Oh, that one,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then then we'd also have added expenses. We'll have to work with the bond council or somebody to help do the wording for it, for the sales tax wording and stuff. So there's other costs. So there's some things to keep in mind as the conversation goes on. But just wanted to, since we had that one public meeting, I know a couple of commissioners were there, just wanted to see where we wanted to go next with conversations and steps on that. So.
Get it on a work session. When would the next one be?
Well, the next work session is the 28th.
29th.
29, sometime here.
28.
Do you want to have a special work session for that?
Be the 28th. Our next work session.
Who's coming the 28th? There's something coming on the 28th too.
I don't know if they're ready on the-
Grandson's birthday.
Talked about the hotel.
Not then. There's something I can't remember off.
Rosemary's.
There will be a fairly long work session because we have the banking stuff also.
Yeah.
That day, so that would make it a very long work session.
We can go for the next one. Like I said, the time frame and stuff is, it's not something that you're gonna like get
So
done.
you're saying we can't make the September
It'd
deadline?
probably be impossible. I mean, we could do it if we really got to it probably, but she said, when I talked to her the other day, she said, you guys gotta get started on it right now. And then you gotta be, at that point, you guys gotta be sure that that's the direction you wanna go too. So
Well, and I think the other thing is if you're going to go to election, you got to have the right, the letter, the wording, how it's going to be on the, ballot stuff. So people right now will know exactly what it's going to be, and stuff. And so, we haven't even got to that part of it yet. So there's a lot of work we need to do. And I still think we need to go to all the schools, have, who's like we did the hospital meeting, because that's, to me,
It worked out well.
Yeah.
And maybe when you go to the schools, we already have the questions that have come up before,
Right.
already be able to answer those so we can get new questions.
well, and we need to have the wording of what it's going to be on the ballot, so we can,
Yeah.
so people
Yeah, that was
understand
the
exactly
other
what it is. If they don't, it's going to be confusing, and it's like always,
Okay.
So there's a lot of work we need to do before we can get to there.
Yeah, I think that was the model the hospital used in their serial meetings.
Mhm.
Questions that came up first time in a setting were integrated into the next meeting so that we started, you could build a platform and get a sense of what
Exactly what we
the
did.
anxieties were on that. But yeah, functionally I think the disposition seems to be, we don't want to just go willy-nilly or knee-jerk into this. We want to have done due diligence and put it before the people, some understanding of what their hopes and expectations are.
And I don't know if you two picked up this, but to me, I felt like there was a large segment of lack of trust more than anything.
Absolutely.
That was, and maybe that was just,
That was a key word, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Trust.
Well, and I think we need to explain to them that it's going to be in a spatial account, it's not going to be commingled with city's money, something like that has to be in a spatial account. We need to stress that. And it's, that it's not going to be used for anything but that.
I think they had 8 projects down and they were able to complete 4, but they were in I don't think it was ever put into any other thing, but they were constantly waiting on grant money and using it as match to try and get more done.
the other thing too, is I got thinking after that meeting was, that was that 07, 08, 09 timeframe. That we had that bad recession then. And I know that when I was an elected official during that time in another city, and I know our budget got decimated. So my guess is that sales tax revenues didn't come in as strong as they should have. And I imagine other things happened, costs went up and things that they probably just couldn't do. But no one remembers that because those folks are all gone. But that'd be my guess, is that sales tax revenues tanked and they couldn't do the projects that were promised because the revenues weren't there. But I don't know if to be a fact, but it would be likely.
Well, we waited on some of them, for grants like Canyon was saying that matched that, where we went a little bit farther than what we actually had got money for. So actually we did better than what the sales tax come in, but it just took a while to do that.
None of us, I'm just going to go ahead and slay my elephant in the room. None of us were here when that happened, but the reason I said there's a reason why I periodically ask, are we on track with that repayment, was because when Summit Street became Summit Street Local, the state of Kansas Department of Transportation gave us effectively a dowry, $1 million a mile for the 4 miles. We invested about 70% of that in the 6 blocks downtown, but that left 30% of those funds, more than $1 million. And some time ago, the question came up, whatever happened to the other $1 million? And me being me, I went in and talked to the current city manager at the time and said, what happened to those funds? And said, I'll check into it. And about 2 months later, he came back and said, we don't know. So when I'm saying that to say, not to bring that up because we're all new. We have immunity. But functionally, I'm saying when you start talking about the issue of everybody doesn't voice it and run around waving banners saying we lost $1 million. But that's one of those questions of how did you go through a cycle and $1.2 million disappeared and no one can account for it. So the accountabilities have to be out. So I just keep asking. I'm sorry. Now you know why. Now you know the rest of the story, Paul Harvey, why I continue to ask about that, just because the numbers there and people who aren't baiting down the door are saying, what about that loan? So I just keep bringing it up periodically. Trust, accountability.
I'm out of the list now, so.
That's it? That's it.
Oh, can I? When I did ask about this, the purpose of that was, even in our conversation last Friday, there were some maybe anecdotal things about there are horses over here in this property and everything. And the comment was some of those are zoned, some of those in the municipal boundaries are zoned ag for agricultural use. That would make them within compliance to have some livestock on there. So if you're approached by someone on the livestock chicken issue, it might be useful to know what areas, well, my neighbor down the street, or your neighbor is actually in an area that's zoned ag. You're in an area that's zoned light residential. So the rules for them and the rules for them are not the same. So this is a good tool to have if people are still concerned about decisions we're making on about what our city needs to look like. Now I'm done.
Nothing further.
Unless,
Go ahead.
no, I have nothing else. If you keep sitting, I'll keep talking.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second color bow yard.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Y'all.